The Goonies, 1985, a legendary adventure that defined a generation. From treasure maps to secret caves, this classic captured the hearts of millions. But have you ever wondered what happened to the Goonies after the cameras stopped rolling? Fast forward to 2025, and the once young stars are all grown up. Some stayed in the spotlight, others took surprising new paths, and a few may be unrecognizable today. Join us on a nostalgic journey as we reveal the then and now transformation of the beloved Goonies cast. You won't believe how far they've come. Sean Astin, who portrayed Mikey in the Goonies, was only 14 when he brought to life the brave, asthmatic leader driven by dreams of lost treasure and saving his family's home. His performance was filled with heart and became iconic for a generation. Though his post-Goonies career included some success, most notably the Lord of the Rings trilogy, Astin struggled deeply with typecasting and periods of unemployment. He married producer Christine Harrell in 1992, and they had 3 daughters, Alexandra, Elizabeth, and Isabella. While the marriage endured, it was marred by long stretches of separation and emotional distance. Astin also battled anxiety and depression in silence, compounded by a falling out with his mother, actress Patty Duke, shortly before her passing. He invested in several failed ventures and lost much of his savings. Now 53, he lives modestly in a rented home in Oregon, working sporadically in voice acting and conventions. He has been largely estranged from Hollywood, and despite brief attempts at a comeback, most offers never materialized. His current net worth is estimated at around $350,000, a sharp decline from his peak years. Josh Brolin, who played the strong and stoic older brother Brand in The Goonies, was 17 at the time of filming. Brand's protective nature and quiet resolve captured audiences, but Brolin's personal life spiraled in unexpected ways after early fame. He initially struggled with substance abuse and legal troubles, which plagued his 20s and cost him several roles. His marriage to actress Alice Adair ended in 1994 after a tumultuous relationship, but they had 2 children, Trevor and Eden. He later married Diane Lane, but the union dissolved after publicized domestic issues. Brolin eventually remarried Catherine Boyd, a former assistant, and had another daughter, Westlyn. Behind his tough exterior, Brolin wrestled with insecurity and strained family relationships, particularly with his father, actor James Brolin. While he achieved later acclaim for roles like No Country for Old Men and Avengers: Endgame, Brolin confided in interviews about his loneliness and mental health struggles. Now 55, his net worth is around $45 million, though much of it is tied in volatile investments. He lives in relative seclusion, often traveling solo on a motorcycle to clear his mind. Jeff Cohen, beloved as the clumsy and hilarious Chunk, was just 11 when he starred in The Goonies. His unforgettable Truffle Shuffle made him a household name, but Cohen's journey took a hard turn. Unable to secure roles after adolescence due to weight and appearance, he quit acting and later became an entertainment lawyer. Despite success in law, Cohen battled self-image issues and loneliness. He married a fellow attorney named Rachel in 2007, but they separated after 5 years, citing emotional detachment and overwork. They had 1 daughter, Hannah, whom he sees only sporadically due to a bitter custody arrangement. Cohen's relationship with his parents also frayed, largely due to their pressure to stay in show business. Now 51, he lives alone in Los Angeles, working primarily behind the scenes. His health has declined, and he's quietly undergone treatment for diabetes and hypertension. His current net worth is estimated at $1.1 million, mostly from law partnerships and residual royalties. Despite occasional Goonies reunions, Cohen rarely attends, citing anxiety and discomfort with revisiting the past. Corey Feldman, who played the fast-talking mouth, was 14 when he brought his rebellious charm to the Goonies. Feldman's future seemed bright, but fame quickly turned into a curse. He fell into a downward spiral of addiction, legal battles, and troubling allegations about abuse in Hollywood. Feldman married 3 times, first to actress Vanessa Marcil, then to model Susie Sprague, and later to Courtney and Mitchell. All marriages ended in heartbreak, each plagued by public spectacle, infidelity, and accusations. He had one son, Zen, from his second marriage, though they have a strained relationship. Feldman's music career was met with ridicule, and he was often mocked for his attempts to reclaim the spotlight. Now 53, he lives in a rented apartment in Burbank, financially unstable and emotionally fragile. He's spoken openly about being blacklisted and betrayed by former friends. His net worth is around $250,000, a fraction of what it once was. Feldman remains a cautionary tale of child stardom, and while he still advocates for child actors, many question the authenticity of his efforts. Kerry Green, who portrayed the sweet and conflicted Andy, was 18 when she appeared in The Goonies. Despite the success of the film, Green's acting career quickly faded, with few roles offered that matched her early promise. She married New York writer Daniel Walters in 1990, and had 2 sons, Jacob and Leo. The marriage, while initially passionate, suffered due to her emotional withdrawal and resentment toward Hollywood. After a failed comeback attempt, Green disappeared from the spotlight, choosing to raise her children quietly. However, she later struggled with severe depression and agoraphobia, rarely leaving her suburban Connecticut home. Financial difficulties followed, as her husband's career also waned, leading to a near foreclosure of their house. She now lives on modest freelance writing income and occasional royalties. At 58, she is estranged from several friends and family members and rarely makes public appearances. Her estimated net worth is around $80,000, much of it dwindling due to medical bills and legal fees during a brief, unsuccessful lawsuit over unpaid royalties. Martha Plimpton, who played the sarcastic and sharp Steph in The Goonies, was 14 when she delivered her standout performance. Her wit and maturity made Steph a fan favorite, but Plimpton's real life was riddled with emotional turmoil. A promising career was overshadowed by intense media scrutiny during her relationship with actor River Phoenix, whose death in 1993 left her devastated and emotionally scarred. Though she continued acting on stage and screen, Plimpton struggled with addiction, eating disorders, and multiple stints in rehab. She never married but had a long, unstable relationship with a Broadway director, which ended after a painful miscarriage in her early 30s. Though she later adopted a daughter named Clara, Plimpton's parenting was complicated by frequent work-related absences and emotional distance. Now 53, she lives alone in a small New York apartment, away from the limelight, often battling loneliness. Despite some recent voice roles, her career has waned. Her current net worth is estimated at $400,000, much of it spent on therapy, legal battles, and helping fellow struggling actors. Ke Huy Quan, known for playing the inventive and fearless Data, was 14 when he lit up the screen in The Goonies. He had already found fame in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, but his rise was brutally halted by Hollywood's lack of roles for Asian actors. After years of rejection and disappointment, Quan quit acting and faded into obscurity, working as a stunt coordinator and assistant director. He married Echo Tran in 2004, and though they never had children, their bond remained strong through his darkest years. However, the pain of obscurity weighed heavily, and Quan suffered in silence through multiple bouts of depression and identity crisis. He lived paycheck to paycheck, and at one point worked as a warehouse stalker to survive. A recent resurgence in his career brought momentary joy and awards, but Quan has admitted he still feels like an outsider in the industry. Now 53, he lives modestly in Los Angeles. His net worth has risen to an estimated $2.5 million thanks to recent success, but his past still casts a long shadow over his present. John Matuszak, who portrayed the lovable and misunderstood Sloth, was 35 during filming. A former NFL player, Matuszak gave a heartfelt performance beneath heavy prosthetics. Yet behind the gentle character was a man consumed by pain. Matuszak battled addiction to painkillers, alcohol, and cocaine, partly from his football injuries, partly from emotional demons. He never married but was rumored to have fathered a child he never met. His relationships were brief and turbulent, marked by emotional distance and self-destructive habits. Despite brief appearances in other films, he never found stability in Hollywood. His financial situation declined rapidly due to medical bills, failed business ventures, and drug expenses. On June 17, 1989, he died at the age of 38 from heart failure due to an accidental overdose. At the time of his death, he was living in a small Los Angeles apartment, nearly bankrupt. His estate was valued at less than $30,000. Matuszak remains a tragic figure, a man who captured hearts on screen but couldn't escape the torment of it. Robert Davi, who played Jake Fratelli, the menacing yet comically flawed criminal, was 34 during The Goonies. Known for his intimidating presence and gravelly voice, Davi found steady work as a character actor, yet always struggled to step out from the shadow of villain roles. He married aspiring singer Christine Bolster in 1990, and they had 4 children, Nicholas, Isabella, Francesco, and Gianna. However, the couple divorced after 18 years, citing emotional neglect and infidelity. Davi's obsession with a music career led to financial losses and a tarnished reputation in Hollywood. He also faced multiple lawsuits over unpaid loans and tax issues. While he stayed politically outspoken in recent years, this alienated him from former colleagues and fans. Now 73, Davi lives in a gated community in Nevada, relatively isolated and reliant on convention appearances. Though he still acts occasionally, his net worth is modest, around $600,000, far from what it once was. He remains a polarizing figure, remembered more for his eccentricity and controversies than his talent. Joe Pantoliano, who portrayed the manic and scheming Francis Fratelli, was 33 during The Goonies. A dynamic actor, Pantoliano found fame in films like The Matrix and Memento, but success came with a personal price. He married Nancy Shepard in 1994 and had 3 children, Marco, Melody, and Daniela. Though their marriage survived, it was far from happy, plagued by Joe's bipolar disorder, infidelities, and mood swings. He spent years battling mental illness, chronicling his struggles in a memoir. Friends and family often described him as charming yet volatile. He endured a near-fatal accident in 2020, which left him with lingering neurological issues. Despite working steadily, his erratic behavior led to a string of lost opportunities. Now 72, he lives in Connecticut, semi-retired, and rarely makes public appearances. His net worth is estimated at $3 million, though significant debts and legal settlements have diminished his wealth. Pantoliano has become reclusive, choosing a quiet life away from the chaos that once defined him. Lupe Ontiveros, who played the devoted yet underappreciated housekeeper Rosalita in The Goonies, was 43 at the time of filming. A proud Mexican-American actress, Ontiveros often found herself typecast in maid roles, which she publicly lamented despite performing them with depth and dignity. Her career, though consistent, was shadowed by the lack of representation for Latina women in Hollywood. She married Judge Elias Ontiveros in 1969 and had 3 sons, Elias Jr., Nicholas, and Alejandro. The marriage appeared solid but was quietly strained due to her long absences and his rigid expectations. Lupe endured private heartbreak with the loss of her eldest son to leukemia in the late 90s, an event that devastated her emotionally. She also fought a long battle with liver cancer, which she kept hidden from many. Financially, Ontiveros lived modestly despite her many roles, often supporting extended family and charitable causes. She passed away on July 26, 2012, at the age of 69. At the time of her death, her estate was valued at approximately $150,000, testament to a life of hard work in an industry that rarely gave her the recognition she deserved. And Ramsey, unforgettable as the terrifying matriarch Mama Fratelli, was 56 when she snarled her way through The Goonies. Behind her rough exterior was a woman battling immense personal pain. Married to actor Logan Ramsey, their relationship was loving but marred by years of her illness. She was diagnosed with esophageal cancer in the early 80s, requiring multiple surgeries that permanently altered her speech. Despite this, she continued acting with fierce determination. Her role in Throw Mama from the Train brought critical acclaim, but her health quickly declined. She had no children and often expressed regret about not having a family, especially as she spent her final years in and out of hospitals. Ramsey found solace in her faith and her husband, who remained by her side. She passed away on August 11, 1988, at the age of 59. At the time of her passing, her net worth was estimated at around $200,000. Though her life was filled with physical suffering, she left behind a legacy of unforgettable performances and a reputation as one of Hollywood's most formidable character actresses. Kurt Hansen, who played the bank representative Mr. Perkins in The Goonies, was 45 at the time of the film. A character actor with dozens of TV and minor film credits, Hansen was known for his quiet, unassuming presence both on screen and off. He married his college sweetheart, Lillian, in the early 70s, and the couple had one daughter, Elise. Though devoted to his family, Hansen quietly struggled with undiagnosed depression and intense dissatisfaction with the trajectory of his career. Often cast in background roles, he felt overlooked and invisible in an industry obsessed with youth and fame. In his later years, he left acting to teach theater at a community college in Nebraska, where he lived a modest and secluded life. Despite his love for education, he wrestled with financial strain and a lack of purpose after retiring. Kurt Hansen passed away on February 14, 2016, at the age of 76. At the time of his death, he had an estimated net worth of $90,000. He is remembered fondly by students but remains largely forgotten by Hollywood. Steve Antin, who played the arrogant and privileged bully Troy in The Goonies, was 27 when he took on the role. With chiseled looks and confident swagger, Antin seemed destined for stardom, but fame proved elusive. After a few more acting gigs, he transitioned into writing and directing, achieving moderate success with Burlesque in 2010. Though openly gay, Antin kept his private life guarded for many years, especially during the less accepting era of the 80s and 90s. He was in a long-term relationship with a film producer, but it ended painfully after a betrayal involving project rights. He never had children, and much of his adult life was characterized by periods of isolation and professional frustration. Antin was also rumored to have battled body image issues and underwent several cosmetic procedures, which led to health complications in his late 50s. Now 67, he lives alone in West Hollywood, working occasionally as a script doctor. His net worth is estimated at $600,000, though he once claimed to have lost nearly $1 million in a failed production deal. Despite moments of glamour, Antin's journey has been one of struggle behind the curtain of Hollywood. Michael Paul Chan, who portrayed Data's caring and enthusiastic father, was 35 when he filmed The Goonies. Though his role was small, it reflected the warmth Chan often brought to his characters. A founding member of the Asian American Theater Company, Chan's career spanned decades, but he rarely achieved household name status. He married actress Christina Ma in the early 90s, and they had one son, Thomas. Their marriage, though lasting, experienced growing distance due to Chan's constant traveling and his wife's own career pursuits. Chan often spoke out about the lack of Asian representation in Hollywood, which led to some being wary of hiring him. While he found late success with the closer and major crimes, he often felt sidelined, describing himself as always the supporting act, never the lead. Now 75, Chan lives quietly in Pasadena, occasionally teaching acting workshops and mentoring young Asian actors. His net worth is estimated at $1.5 million. Though never a breakout star, Chan is deeply respected in acting circles, his legacy built not on fame, but on quiet perseverance and artistic integrity. Who is your favorite character from The Goonies? How does it feel knowing that some of the actors are no longer with us? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoy this type of content, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on future uploads. Thank you for your support.